This is How Much for Just the Podcast?
With Damo and Mick. I'm Damo.
I'm Mick.
And you're listening to The Thing. You've downloaded it, so you know what you're listening to.
This is our first actual episode.
This is an actual episode where I've actually seen the episode that we're going to be discussing. So,
which is also a problem because we also kind of discussed a lot about it.
We did, yeah. Look, we don't want to rehash the things, but now that I've seen it, I have thoughts.
Yeah, so have I.
It wasn't as bad as I was expecting. It wasn't as bad as you made it out to be, I think.
Okay, look, I watched it again last night.
Again, okay.
Because I thought, okay, maybe I wasn't fair. And I still take exception to a lot of it. There are many individual bits of it I hate.
Yeah.
But taken as a whole, I only feel, it's all right.
It's forgettable. It's a forgettable episode. But it's there's some idea. Like you were blaming it the last one on Nimoy having a contract that he gets to bang the hot chick in the past for one episode. I'm the opposite. I think it was Shatner. I think it was Shatner going like this is an episode that's written specifically for Spock. Because I'll get to that in a sec, but this is an episode written specifically for Spock, and Shatner's turned around and gone, "No, I have to be the hero. I'm the first in the credits. I need to have the rescue thing," and the best that they could do is make him beat up an old dude.
I've got a whole other theory that we're going to get to in a minute because I've actually also done research.
Research,
yeah. So all right, so today we're talking about the episode. All our yesterdays. Yes. The original series, season 3, episode 23.
The penultimate episode of the original series.
Chronologically, the earliest Star Trek events on TV.
Yes.
Of any substance.
Yes.
That's not more than like a couple of minutes of a bit.
Yes. We discussed that. There's the primordial goop. There's the Voyager going back to the Big Bang. There's the, we discussed. This is all last episode.
Yeah. The other thing I noticed about our pilot episode, because you and I talk about Star Trek a lot.
Yes.
Our pilot episode, our very first episode, contained a lot of back references and in-jokes.
Yes.
As if this has been going on forever, because it has.
Pretty much.
It's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
Everyone just joining us.
Yeah. I mean, do we need to explain? Which in-jokes do we need to explain? I listened back to you remember last week I was saying there's going to be someone that's going to, actually, that's not correct. I did that myself to things that I was saying. It's like the words that were coming out of my mouth were canonically incorrect, and I'm going, "You fucking dickhead, Damien! What are you saying that for?" And it's like the.
I totally agree. I mean, I say "you dickhead, Damien" all the time.
Right.
So welcome to the club.
Yes. Okay. No. Anyway, I apologise for any canon nerds that were triggered by my words last week because I was too.
Yeah. And up front again. Spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning.
Yes, we are bouncing around in time and space in the Star Trek continuity. Mm-hmm. We've seen all of it.
Yes.
If you haven't, just strap yourself in.
Yes.
Because we are not constrained by the Temporal Prime Directive.
Enjoy our bullshit for what it is on face value with no background information whatsoever.
I just want to say categorically for the record, going into earlier stages of this podcast, I genuinely like all of Star Trek.
all evidence to the contrary as we're pouring shit over this episode.
I just seen a lot of people
I really like it, guys.
I've seen a lot of stuff and commentary about people saying, "Look, I hate how much negativity there is in Star Trek." Yes, there is.
This is yeah. Look, you can criticize something and still love it. Like I feel like the only way, look, I've got criticisms of the new Star Trek as well, but I still enjoy it. I'm still watching every single episode of Discovery, of Strange New Worlds, of Picard. I famously despised Picard season 2, and yet Picard is probably my favorite Trek series.
Yeah,
it's season 2 we could do without, but we'll get to that in a
Yeah, I mean I think that's the first stretch of stuff we are going to do back to back.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yep. Yay. It's I'm not going to be a happy camper when we get to that. But this is the thing. Just because we're pouring shit on Star Trek doesn't mean we don't love it. It's you can. The thing is, there's a fine line, because criticizing the new Star Trek seems to be solely the avenue of people who are worried about how woke Star Trek has gone without, recognizing that it's always been this way, you fucking idiots. Anyway. So, like, as soon as you start criticizing things, either like you're lumped in the camp with those people, or you're just labeled a hater and that sort of thing.
And that's not what we're about.
100%. I am going to mock and hang shit on so many aspects of Star Trek, but I will make time to watch any of it.
Yeah, I don't think that you can successfully parody something without having genuine affection for it.
100%.
Like you see all the soulless parodies of like the Not Another Teen movie or the superhero movie or Meet the Spartans, those soulless sort of cash grab parodies who basically take a moment from a trailer that was releasing that year and then make a bad joke about it and then move on, and it has nothing to do with, like, all of that is just a fucking terrible cash grab. But you go back to the original parody movies like, Flying High or Airplane, whichever you call it in your part of the world, and, you can tell that when they wrote that, because it's basically a shot-for-shot remake of they changed very little about what was the original movie. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But they had a genuine love of that movie because it was so hilarious to them. So they just made that movie, but a comedy. So anyway.
Galaxy Quest,
exactly. Genuine love of the franchise
Yeah, and it is not just mocking the genre. It is of the genre.
Yeah,
it belongs
exactly
in it. Yes, it is of it. It's not a stupid riff. It's just So that's us. We're Galaxy Quest.
Yes, we are.
The end.
I don't want to be Tim Allen. Can I be Alan Rickman at least? You can be Tim Allen.
I've already got Rickman staked out.
Oh, damn it.
I think I've even posted this. It was like a couple of months ago. It's like I can see this inevitable future coming towards me, where I'm delivering the words, "Don't forget to like and subscribe," with the same derision as "By Grabfast Hammer, what a savings."
Yeah, I mean, can see it coming. By the way, like and subscribe this podcast. What a saving.
So, all our yesterdays.
Yes.
The brief précis, the Enterprise rocks up at a star that's about to explode. The ticking clock is set at about 3 hours. Mm-hmm. A lot happens in 3 hours.
A lot.
I reckon they could have gone 6 hours, 12 hours, would have had the same urgency and made it a bit less of a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, sure. In the space of 3 hours, Kirk gets captured, accused of being a witch, escapes from being accused of being a witch, makes his way back into the present time somehow, which was mentioned as impossible multiple times, and beats up an old dude's clones, and rescues the rest of the away team in 3 hours. He's a hell of a captain.
He is. 3 hours.
3 hours?
Includes a lot of luck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kirk manages to overpower. Kirk escapes from the dungeon.
Yes.
By overpowering the guy delivering dinner.
The Witchfinder General or whatever he is.
If Kirk had just arrived at not before dinner time, if they'd thrown him in the cell at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
Game over.
If they decided, we only captured him a couple of hours ago, why would we feed him? Like, he's probably been fed already. We'll feed him tomorrow.
He's not on the his name's not on the list yet.
No, yeah. He hasn't put in his order. He hasn't put in his menu log order.
If Kirk didn't get his soup, nothing happened. Bones and Spock die in the ice. The star explodes. Kirk is living.
This is why I'm convinced that the Kirk story is the B story that was just injected at the last minute just to give him something to do. The whole episode my thinking of the episode is it was meant to be about Spock and exactly how much he holds back, how much he keeps in. And they touched on it a little bit when he grabs McCoy by the scruff of the neck and goes, what was it? I don't like that. I don't think I ever liked that. And it's like, oh, fuck, he's angry. And it's like the whole thing was supposed to be about Spock regressing into his ancient 5,000 year ago Vulcan savagery. And
for no reason.
It's kind of established, but it's not very well explained. That's the preparation that they have to go through. that makes it impossible for them to come back.
But the thing is, Bones doesn't know. Bones is the one that
Yeah.
says that. It's like Spock is going a bit funny.
Yeah.
And Bones goes, well, what were your Vulcan people doing at this point in history?
Yeah, yeah.
Like they were savages. And Bones goes, well, that's what's happening to you then.
Yeah, yeah.
Because reasons. I don't.
But like the old dude, the librarian guy, he does mention that you need to be prepared before you go back in the past, and it presumably that is to put them into, because if you do go back in time, you're going to bring bugs and diseases that is going to wipe out most of the human population if we do it. So that seems to be the way that they were going, but it's only sort of inferred because it's never specifically explained.
So why is like Spock regressing to carnivorous habits and Bones isn't like building a pyramid?
Sci-fi. Just an overwhelming desire to move a stone and put it on top of another. It's just genetic memory.
Bones should be out making some kind of a hinge.
just putting rocks on top of other rocks. That's the human evolution. Like we just do it better now. We just build skyscrapers. It's just the human instinct to put a rock on top of another rock.
And also Spock's wavering logic. Okay, when Bones is collapsing in the snow, going, "Leave me behind."
Yeah.
Spock is like, "No, we go together or not at all."
That's not logical.
No, it's not. But but then in exact contrast at the end of the episode, it's like, we can't leave without this girl we just met and Spock just banged. We don't go together anymore. Sorry, bye.
Yeah. Whatever. It's just This is what I'm saying.
And mourning her isn't logical afterwards.
Yeah.
So mourning Bones wouldn't have been logical either. It's like he could have if he'd left Bones in the past and just frozen to death and come back and go, well, mourning him isn't logical. That happened 5,000 years ago. There's
that's not the way that works.
There is no consistency in.
This is why I feel like it was half an episode. Like the things weren't explained adequately, and it's up to us to sort of make it up.
Okay, so this is where I'm going to bring in my research.
Your research,
because I'm going to blow your mind. This episode, the outline, the structure, all our conjecture about, it was two things jammed together, it was a thing or whatever. Mm-hmm. This was a fan submission.
Oh, it was a spec script that someone submitted.
Jean Lizette Buck,
okay,
a Trek fan, sent in a submission.
Okay, back when they used to allow that.
Yeah, so basically hers is one of 4 spec submissions in TOS.
Okay. Because there was a bunch in TNG, but
the thing that made me go and look this up was that reference in the cave. The lady whose name I cannot remember, it just will not stick in my head.
Past lady.
Yeah, past lady. But I just feel like it just doing such a disservice to not use her name. Zarabeth. So Zarabeth in the cave.
Yes.
Upon hearing from Spock, oh, you're from the space. I used to love reading books about that.
Okay.
Is Zarabeth
Mary
Sue?
Sue? Oh, so she's written the script so she gets to bang Spock like every Star Trek fan ever.
But this is before
fanfic.
No, this is before Mary Sue was a cliche.
Right, of course.
Is this one of the things that the original Mary Sue parody thing from the early 70s was back referencing? Was this one of the things they're going, this shit happens far too often?
This is used as an example.
Was this just the first one? Because it fits in every way. It's this woman in a cave dies tragically, but impresses
has been unfairly sent back in time by a tyrant.
Impresses but saves Spock.
Just cask of Amontillado.
She was a Spock fan, and this woman in the cave was a sci-fi fan.
Yep.
Stranded in the past.
Yeah.
Spock arrives, she saves him, brings him shelter, has a night of passion, and then dies tragically.
Yep, that's the trope. That's the.
But is there an earlier example of it, or is in Star Trek?
Star Trek itself?
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's the original Mary Sue. There was a piece of fiction that was basically just riffing on the 15-year-old new ensign rocks up and goes hey, I was like this.
Yeah.
But that was obviously it was a stale old fanfic thing in the early 70s. But
this is one that went through to the keeper and was allowed into canon because before they realised, everyone's doing this?
Before it was a trope. Anfortunately, Jean passed away in 2020, so
we can't ask him?
We can't call her up. We can't
ask her.
Yeah.
What were the other 4 spec scripts that were
I don't know. I didn't get as far. I didn't get deep into looking at what was it?
got bored of research at that point?
Sorry, just pull up Memory Alpha so I can have a quick Memory Alpha. Thank you so much for adding a light theme to your pages. I can read them without copying and pasting shit now. It's amazing. Yeah, so the story outline was called A Handful of Dust. Had Spock and McCoy trapped in a desert wasteland, with McCoy dying from desert heat, and there was no Zarabeth. Kirk was trapped in a period which resembles San Francisco's Barbary Coast, but returns to the library with another time traveller. At the end, the time traveller who helped Kirk destroys the time portal. It's just like...
So in the original outline, Zarabeth wasn't even there, so that's sort of going back on the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but that was the outline that was accepted, and then it was like, yeah, well, okay, write the script. And so when she got the chance to write the script, it was like, I'm in, right?
It was a Trojan horse. It's like a surprise, I'm here.
So yeah, I don't know. Obviously, there's more to this, and if anyone listening to this knows more, just start typing actually now.
Actually, yes. But no, it still feels like the Kirk plot was completely irrelevant. Like it had no bearing on literally anything.
Yeah, no, it didn't. But I just thought it was worth noting that in the original outline, the split still happened.
Yeah.
But involved Kirk coming back with another time traveller. And together they destroyed the time portal.
Right. So they destroyed the time portal.
So maybe the time portal wasn't a crisis response. Maybe the revised version, it wasn't an escape route.
It was just a thing.
It was just a thing. The thing I found interesting was that the spec strip mentions settings, which is like, a desert and Barbary Coast, which means 100% that in that rewrite, they said, we've got a dungeon set and an ice cave set left over from the other productions. And they just did a Three Musketeers play.
I was going to mention the Musketeers outfits.
So yeah, can you just change the settings to those instead? Thanks. Because the settings were irrelevant.
Yeah. No, it didn't matter. Like, it's probably more realistic that he's going to, die of exposure or die of issues in like an ice age more than a desert. You're going to sweat a bit in a desert, but unless it's like 75 degrees Celsius, probably going to be all right if you get into cover. They get to a cave, everything's fine. But no, he's still...
Yeah, it was 100%. We've got these props, we've got these costumes.
Yeah,
let's do it like that.
This is easier to make.
But some of the dialogue is just tragically awful.
Oh yeah,
the thing I wrote down when I was watching it. Oh, we're very cold. So Spock pulls out his phaser, looks at a boulder, is like, heating this boulder may provide heat.
Well, heating a thing heats a thing.
I swear, I've got a photo somewhere of the thing I lost long ago. It was a warning label from some food product. And the warning label literally said, contents become hot when heated.
You don't say.
As I was the librarian, did you get Zathras vibes?
A little bit Zathras, yeah. He was a little bit Zathras.
I'm just wondering if Zathras was a tribute. Like if Zathras was a riff, A to Z.
Right. Yeah, that's not Zathras. That's Zathras.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because there's more than one of him. Did we establish if they're clones or robots or what?
I don't know. I didn't really get that, and I kind of had trouble concentrating on this episode a bit.
Yeah. It feels like that they just didn't have the budget for a second guest star. Like, why has he got helpers that are also himself?
Well, this also comes back to my fundamental problem with the episode is like a lot of things just are the way they are because reasons.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they explain it or not because the explanation would just be, oh, that's because it needs to be.
Yeah. But like you could have had them like, faceless robot type characters, just put a mask over him that makes him look like a robot. They didn't have to be duplicates of himself.
No, they didn't.
I don't know why. Does everyone who makes robots in Star Trek make them look like themselves?
Maybe that's just the kind of ego that it takes to get...
Harry Mudd made a bunch of robots that look like himself. Sung makes robots exclusively that look like himself.
Well, that's fair because the entire Sung family looks identical anyway. So
Yeah.
it only makes sense that they've only got one reference image anywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe Sung was making them look like his dad or his uncle or his some old photograph that he found in the attic. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like
I mean-
it's not me. It's just a Sung.
Yeah, A Sung. Yeah, A Sung, A through Z Sung. There is the fan theory that suggests that each Sung that we meet is the same person, and his whole goal with his experiments with genetics and robots is just trying to prolong his life and keep his consciousness ongoing.
Didn't they kind of do that at the end of Picard? Wasn't
They
that kind of
did.
what they did?
That's exactly what they did.
They just poured
Yeah,
everything so far into the one data,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all the Sungs now.
Yeah. That's exactly what they did. Exactly. So he is the realization of Sung's dream. Which Sung? Don't know. Could be all of them. All
yeah.
of them. All of the same.
The mechanics of the time portal,
Yes.
I don't get it. It's like, again, this is like feels like there's pieces missing.
Yeah.
Like-
I looked at a CD that said it was from the Ice Age, and it took me to the Ice Age.
And that's why they went to a different place.
Didn't insert the CD into anything.
But they had to insert that CD to come back.
Yes.
They had to find the specific
They had to
CD
find the specific
to open
one.
it so they could come back.
Yeah.
They didn't need it. They just needed to tap their heels together 3 times and think there's no place like home or what, it's just like this.
Here's a question. Say, for argument's sake, Earth was headed towards a disaster, like some sort of climate apocalypse, for example.
Like that.
Whoa, what a strange sci-fi concept that would be. If your only escape was through a portal like the librarian, you could only take the clothes on your back and the knowledge in your head, where would you go back to? Forget the temporal, the time travel implications, the butterfly effect. Where would you go in Earth's history?
I feel like I should have anticipated this discussion and had a bit of a think about this.
I had a lot of a think, and I can't come up with a proper answer, to be honest. I feel like if you go back too far, because I don't speak another language. I don't speak Latin, so going back to Roman times seems like a bad plan.
You'd pick it up.
You could pick it up, but you'd have to survive until you do pick it up.
I did a couple of years of Latin in high school.
Me too.
So I feel like I've got enough of a head start to just start picking it apart and just I don't think that'd be a problem. But
yeah.
that aside, can't think of any Latin speaking times that seem fun.
Yeah, no, you go back to ancient Rome where it was sort of, mostly okay, but then there was the occasional fucking crucifixions and thrown into the Colosseum and made to fight lions and that sort of stuff.
I'd probably have to go to at least some kind of decent climate. I think I'd probably have to pick this on climate rather than
On climate.
Yeah, because I don't want to go somewhere where you have brutally cold winters and don't have central heating.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we're talking about little Pacific Islands pre-colonization type stuff.
Oh yeah, just do the Star Trek First Contact plan, Gravette Island, just an isolated island that nobody's ever heard of, and just live out your days fishing and eating coconuts.
Just relax. It's just like if everything. You're saying the planet's gone.
Yeah.
Everything you've worked for obviously is written off already. You might as well just go quiet retirement.
It's a fair plan.
Bountiful fruits and foods and, not too many large hungry predators, decent weather, and just
just chill.
Yeah.
No internet connection. No nothing. So in that scenario, you don't really have to pick a point in the past. You just need to pick a place.
Yeah, just
hasn't been explored.
Well, no, I wouldn't mind if there's some people there. It's just a little non-entity thing before, previously outside of the scope of hordes of foreign invaders coming in and going, "This is our island now. Thank you very much. Here is work in our cane fields." Aside from that, because most of human history sucks.
Yeah.
I think all of it does, honestly.
Pretty much, in varying ways and to varying degrees, perhaps. Yeah. But a lot of it, there's a downside to everything. There's a downside, we're two white blokes, we're pretty much, the top of the food chain for most of history, but even so, that's not always a guarantee of, prosperity.
No, of course not. But if you're talking about just purely like self-protection, and we're talking obviously we're talking about the closed loop thing, anything that has happened in the past, we can assume already happened. So whatever time you pick, you already picked that. You're already part of what happened. You can't change anything. If that's the rules, I'm just going to go and be a generic white dude in 1950s America, knowing that I cannot change or influence anything anyway, and it's pointless to try. And I could just
But what if you could? Like, we haven't really established that rule. Like, you're suggesting that the closed loop thing. What if you could go back and invent the iPhone in 1950 something?
All I need to do is go back to the point at which I personally was already about to buy Apple stock and actually buy it this time.
Pat yourself on the shoulder and just, do it, you fucking idiot! What are you doing? Just yourself appears behind yourself just going, do it! Fucking do it! Oh, good, I've gone crazy. Fair enough. Lock me away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know what period of history I would go back to.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either. I mean, this is a good chance for listener engagement if you're listening to this.
If you're listening to this, tweet us the answer. Call in now.
So is this being one of the Star Trek time travel things? We're looking at the various models of time travel for Star Trek.
Yes.
So the heavy implication in this one is it's closed loop kind of stuff, that like everything in this planet's past already
has happened.
Already incorporates all these people going back in the past. Because it must.
Because they did. Yeah.
Otherwise, there's a new timeline. There's a new timeline for every single person who went back.
Well, one of the jailer that was in charge of Kirk, turned out to be
one of them.
One of the people that had come from the. So he's gone back to be a
jailer.
Of witches, which he knows for a fact don't exist.
Yeah,
and he's gone back to burn them anyway. It's just that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go burn people for a living.
I mean, what would you do though? Like, why? I mean, if you are talking about going back into the past and you're picking a point, this implies there's a point where you can't. You're picking a point where atrocities are in progress.
Do you join in those atrocities?
Of course, they're already in progress.
Yeah.
There's always atrocities in progress.
There's always atrocities in progress.
But all the atrocities. You just have to pick which one you're comfortable living in the middle of.
Exactly. Or like, do you try and stop them and then get yourself killed in the past?
But you didn't stop them.
You didn't
stop them.
If it's a closed loop, if we're talking closed loop, yeah.
And the implication is there because they can hear each other. Like if they stand near where the portal was, they can speak to each other across these things, implying that they're not separate timelines or anything. They're all in the same place. There's no branching going on. This ice cave past and the witch burning past are the same past. It's just they can talk to each other for some reason.
But the ice cave wasn't even near the portal either. This goes back to your bloody issue with the right. The ice cave wasn't near the portal. They had to walk a long way to get to the ice cave from the portal. And when they had to go back to that point through after the blizzard had cleared or whatever.
Yeah.
3 hours to clear a blizzard, I suppose.
Yeah, none of it makes sense. Like it happens because it's required to happen to create this dramatic tension. And this is what I think is wrong with your script, Gene.
Rest in peace.
God rest her soul. Let's go on to this thing then, talk about authorship.
Authorship? Oh, are we going to... Yeah, this is more of your research that you mentioned to me during the week.
This blew me away.
Yep.
AC Crispin, if you're a publisher who's scared of women, wrote 2 non-canon novel sequels. Like, again, this is Star Trek novels that are non-canon.
Yeah.
But they're mainstream non-canon, not special John M. Ford non-canon.
Yeah. Special, like it's the non-canon, like not twice removed canon.
So, Anne Crispin wrote 2 novels, Yesterday's Son and Time for Yesterday, featuring Spock's son.
Yes.
With Zarabeth.
And they use the Guardian of Forever to go back in time.
I may have to read them. It's just...
Do you really want to go to that effort?
I don't know. But
you already watched the episode twice.
Yeah, no, it's just so weird. It's just like... Again, it's this stretch of logic just to do it.
There's a lot of a stretch because the whole point of the episode is the sun was about to explode. But in those novels, as you mentioned, they find archaeological evidence of Spock's child And it's like, you can't find archaeological evidence after the sun explodes. The planet would have gone with it.
Well, it doesn't imply that it's like a thing. Okay, so the actual précis from Wikipedia is, while studying the archaeological records of the now destroyed planet Sarpedion. So maybe they just had copies of some books. Maybe they just downloaded the books in the library while in that 3 hours when they were orbiting the planet.
Yeah. They just
downloaded the library as well. They found pictures of an Ice Age cave painting that depicts a Vulcan face. And now, suddenly, it was not logical to mourn Zarabeth, who died 5,000 years ago. But suddenly, Spock learns that he may have had a son who died 5,000 years ago. It is only logical to go and pester a multi-billion-year-old entity called the Guardian of Forever to go and have a look for him.
This is, by the way, the book takes place after they've realised that they can slingshot around the sun to go back in time. So they didn't need to go pester the Guardian of Forever for it, but they did anyway.
Well, maybe it's because they don't have an exact date. If they're slingshotting around the planet, I'm being charitable here. If they slingshot around things, one, there's no nearby star to slingshot around anymore.
Well, I mean, you don't have to do that,
It
son.
blew up.
Like the Enterprise can go to different star systems. I don't know if you've caught that.
You're suggesting
called a
they can
starship.
you're suggesting they can just casually sort of trek between multiple stars.
Yeah, like some sort of Star Trek.
Wow. I will never do that again.
We're definitely going to do that again. This is definitely going to happen again, probably multiple times. Don't let him lie to you.
I was just thinking, like, they could have done that right then and there.
Yeah.
They could have gone, like, if it was practical, as soon as Kirk realizes he's on the planet alone and the other two are trapped in the past, he could have beamed up, they could have spun around the sun and back to where they were picked them up, beamed everyone up, and then spun around the sun again.
This is the problem with most time travel stories, is that they're time travel stories. This is like we've got to race against time to solve this thing that's going to ruin the future. Race against what now?
Exactly.
Race against that thing you broke, the rules of the universe that you're flagrantly disregarding. Like Doctor Who, like every single episode could be solved by him going back in time to 20 minutes before he arrives and just saying, "Hey, by the way, there's Daleks behind that wall."
He 100% let Adric die for no reason.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
There was no reason for Adric to die.
Somebody had to kill the dinosaurs. Somebody had to fucking kill the giant lizards.
I don't think Adric's mass was really the deciding factor.
He was the catalyst. One human body, one small human body less, and it wouldn't have covered the Earth. His
DNA seeded the primordial soup.
Oh, he's the Prometheus child. He's the fucking. What do we call them? The Iconians? No, the Iconians.
The ones that spooged in all the oceans.
Spooge. He's the ocean spooge. He exists as ocean spooge. Why not? Makes as much sense as anything else.
But anyway, so my charitable take is that all they know is about 5,000 years.
Roughly, yeah, approximately.
It could be 4,500, 5,500. That's a big amount of
the CD wasn't labeled. Nobody put a Sharpie on the CD saying this is 5,300.
Well, I mean, it wasn't even precisely even chosen. It was just like you just don't know. It just happened to be what McCoy looked at, and no one seemed to know that afterwards. It was like a race against time to find the correct one by luck. Anyway, so they don't. Okay, so they don't have a precise enough reference to do precise time travel at the moment. By the time they have found. You sorted through the library records and gone, oh, cave painting. Maybe they should have a bit better of an idea.
Probably. Maybe.
But even so, you've got to land within about a 6-month period to really be useful. I get why the logical solution is Guardian of Forever.
He is more accurate.
And understands the whole nature of the interleaving.
And I suppose, like, if you're looking at the slingshot maneuver, because the point of the slingshot maneuver is you're accelerating faster than the speed of light and therefore going back in time, maybe you can't accelerate enough to go far enough back in time to 5,000 years. Like to accelerate that far, like you would, be smears on the back wall. The bloody the inertial dampeners would cut out, and
they go faster than light all the time anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, not physically. So the whole science of warp drive, because NASA was developing a warp drive at one stage. The point of a warp drive is it warps the space in front of you, so that technically you're not traveling faster than speed of light. It's just the space in front of you is contracting and the space behind you is expanding.
Yes.
So that you arrive faster than light would have arrived.
That sounds like it might be something that could damage the fabric of the universe.
Probably.
Wonder if anyone's ever looked into that.
I think it was an episode. We'll get there in TNG, I think season 6.
It's a long way off, isn't it?
It's a long way off, yes. We've got all of Enterprise to get through. Anyway, I'll talk.
We've got all of Picard season 2 to get.
All of Picard season. We might not survive all of Picard season 2.
Maybe we'll be able to binge and do the whole of Picard season 2 in one hit.
Yeah, look, I'm not.
Let's make up. It's our universe. We make the rules.
We can do whatever we like, but there's approximately 900 episodes of Star Trek to get through, so we don't have to do. We've already decided that the double episodes we're probably going to do as a single, and unless, because we're recording this as at the end of Strange New Worlds season 2, while the strike is still going on. So the second part of Strange New Worlds hegemony is probably going to be about 2.5 years away.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And when it releases, maybe it'll take place in the 1960s, and we'll have to go back and deal with.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's my point is, if we keep recording these things regularly, we may have caught up to Strange New Worlds by then.
So anyway, we have a long way to go.
You're saying it'll be a long road getting to there from here?
I'm honestly not looking forward to Enterprise. The first couple of seasons are a slog.
I mean, that's the same with any of them.
No, I know, but it's I also remember how well it was picking up in season 4.
Yes.
So I'm going to go through the whole you bastards.
Yeah, you
again.
cancelled it again. the whole thing. No, you're right.
It's a roller coaster ride. I'm not looking.
Yeah. It's like oh god. Oh, interesting. Oh, this is great. This is good. Oh, it's gone. Oh, okay, fair enough. Someone did mention. So I did talking to a friend of mine as well. Because the final episode.
You've got another friend?
I do. Yes. Several, in fact. I don't talk to them about you. I don't mention you. So talking because the final episode of Enterprise was a holodeck episode, effectively.
Yes.
Which takes place in season 2 of TNG. So he made the suggestion that is it possible that all of Enterprise was a holodeck episode?
Well, we're going to get into this as in some depth, because I have a lot of takes on the whole what Enterprise was intended as, what it became, what happened, and what's going on. Which involves a lot of time. There's a lot of time travel fuckery in that.
Yeah, there is. It starts with the temporal.
I honestly am kind of excited to get into that, because there's some stuff going on that I think was massive missed opportunities, but there's also some fun little angles in that. Did I have anything else I want to bring up? I don't think I do. Do we have a take on all our yesterdays? Can we wrap it up, or is it just going to be?
Look, like I said, it wasn't as bad as I expected after we discussed it the last episode.
I agree, and look, I've come around on it a bit.
It's not great. It's not one of the memorable episodes, and if you watched it once in 1960 something, then there's probably no need to go back and rewatch it. It's just it's an episode that definitely happened.
Did this put people off tuning in for the finale the following week and plummet the ratings and guarantee the cancel?
I feel like it would have, the cancellation would have happened after the season had finished. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know how television worked back in the 60s. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know about much at all about the chronology of our universe, just Star Trek's.
Yeah. Our universe, for some reason, doesn't have a wiki.
What's up with that? Someone should get on that.
Right. Or is that just Wikipedia?
Just some sort of concise guide to the whole galaxy.
Yeah. So it's like
just a book that you
just a book, maybe with "Don't Panic" written on the
that'd
back.
Be nice, yeah.
Yeah. Just a nice big calming letters on the back. Don't panic.
All right, so all our yesterdays. Yeah, it's all right. It's no Spock's brain.
It's no Beverly fucking a ghost. It's
Oh God.
Nobody turns into a salamander.
Oh God. There are some terrible episodes of Star Trek. There are some terrible, terrible, terrible episodes of Star Trek. This isn't one of them.
No, yeah. This is just a middling episode.
It's a mess. It's a plot mess. It's
no one Alan Morained and moved along home.
no. It's fine. Kirk does the bombastic thing a couple of times.
Yeah.
Spock and Bones,
Have it out.
have a few little arguments.
This is the thing. Like, it feels like a missed opportunity in that it could have been an exploration of exactly how much Spock holds back, which is being sort of a bit explored in Strange New Worlds, which is good. But like, this could have been like the old school, like him getting angry at McCoy as like, you go, oh, he could do this at he could flip out at any time, but he chooses not to because he's all Vulcan about it.
Yeah.
And they didn't go down that path, and they didn't explore that at all, and he just goes back to normal. Like, was
the whole idea that Vulcans do feel more emotion, but they're tightly controlled? Was that?
Yeah.
Was that an original thing? Or was that just a later refit?
It was. I feel like it was an original series, maybe a mock time or something like that. It was.
I don't know how hard or how strong they'd really committed to it at that point.
But yeah, like, I mean, McCoy mentions in this episode that, where were your people 5,000 years ago? You were savages and you were, violent and eating meat and that sort of thing. So like, it's known that Vulcans were a little bit fucked in the head.
Yeah.
Like a little bit, warlike.
And I mean, this is the kind of thing a true fan would have known and wanted to write fiction about.
Exactly, yeah. And so the whole thing feels like a bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Is the only thing. It's a middling episode that could have been great if they had have explored these deeper ideas and not fucked around with Kirk going back to the Musketeer time.
If they hadn't doubled down on making it so that they could use up old props and costumes.
Yeah.
A lot of people rate this episode very highly.
A lot of people.
Well, it's just enough to get quite a few references to reception and saying it's very. We're going against the grain on this one, I think.
I mean, you're the one who said it was crap. I said it was okay. It wasn't half as bad. Like, there's some things in it that were not fully realised.
Yeah,
is my point.
I agree. I think my
your initial this is shit.
My this is shit does stem from believing that it's just not a coherent thing. It's not structured. It didn't come with the intent of doing or saying or achieving a specific thing. So maybe on my second viewing, what I did appreciate more was the character development, which I think really it's better seen as. It's a character piece rather than a story piece.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was, yeah.
And I think maybe that's what my first viewing, I didn't really pay enough attention to really pick up that the actual character interactions were actually quite good, yeah.
That was, because
the story is shit.
Yeah, the story, like the story is just window dressing, really, and the librarian character, that's probably there's only one of him, because they didn't want to give him any airtime and have him explain anything particularly well. The key takeaways from the episode are the interactions between Spock and McCoy, because they've always been sort of at each other's throats, but this is the one where Spock starts biting back because he's losing his Vulcanness.
Yes.
From being back in the past. And that should have been explored more than Kirk's dungeon and being a witch.
And I think on my first take, rather than looking at that, I was looking at there is no reason for Spock to be doing this. They haven't given any explanation for why this would happen. It's just bullshit that this is happening.
Yeah. It's never fully explained, but I think the takeaway...
Everything in it that happens just happens for reasons.
The takeaway, with the librarian having to prepare people to go into the past, I think is the whole point of that is so that they can retain their modern faculties more so than the...
I don't care.
Yeah, don't care. Who cares? It doesn't matter.
All right, maybe I'll do a little poll on our new Masto account.
Yes, we joined the social medias. We joined 10 Forward. Thanks, Guinan.
So you can follow us if you're out on Masto or any other Feddy platform. Mm-hmm. You can follow just the pod at 10forward.social.
Yes,
which seemed like a perfectly reasonable place to set up.
Sounds good to me.
Apparently, they're into Star Trek there. Didn't know until after I found out.
Weird, right? So weird. it's better than firing up an account on the burning remains of Twitter.
Well, we'll still cross-post some stuff there occasionally under Pretty Grouse.
Yes, we do.
I'll make sure to pop links to things over there, but I'm not going to.
No.
I'm not going to follow. I'm not going to look.
We're not going to reply there. I do have access to the Pretty Grouse.
Oh, there we go.
Twitter, but like I don't check it very often.
You're in charge of social media now.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
done.
terrific. Excellent. Thanks. You can find me at the Ping Machine. Thanks for listening. This has been what's our fucking show called?
So thank you all for listening to How Much for Just the Podcast with Damo
That's the
Mick.
show. That show that I'm on. How Much for Just the Podcast? Starring me.
That show that you're on for now.
It's for now until we get recast. And yeah. So that's been How Much for Just the Podcast. My name's Damo.
I'm Mick.
Find us on the internet. Computer and program.
Engage. Mr. Worf, throw him in the brig.
How Much for Just the Podcast is a Grouse Media production. The theme music you heard was the Picard rap by Nikolai Kingsley. For all links to our stuff, we have lots of stuff, go to prettygrouse.com.
Where the hell are we? Transporter room 3. Engage. I'll go ahead. Energize.
Did we establish did we ever work out what Zarabeth did to piss off the dictator that sent her back into the
No, I couldn't. I didn't pick it up. It's
over
like
the
if I was like making notes as I went along, and I remembered backtracking at some point, and there was some kind of mention of it. It was not. It was very vaguely defined. It was all just like I pissed off the wrong person. It was just like maybe she just like didn't like his fan fiction.
I don't like your fan fiction. Into the past with you.